I think, well, in general, gender stereotypes are still a very big issue in our society today. And I think a lot of the times people overlook the role that, female role models play in our life. Everything that I continue today it's to uplift the voice of other women. Because in general, I think we as a society should appreciate everything that, we as women can do in life, and especially seeing such strong and determined women like my Ama and my mom. I think it's really important, yeah. Yeah, so I think the young, our generation today has so much potential to influence our future generation. For at school, I'm involved in a lot of different organizations like social entrepreneurship for social good. And then I'm also involved as a research assistant for the Asia Pacific Research Center, doing research on the healthcare industry for elders. I think in general, for us as a young generation, a lot of the time, for our generation today, we're very connected to the internet and technology, right? And so I think that's one of the main things that we as a younger generation can utilize to actually spread social good and public service. I think it's such a powerful platform that we can use as individuals to spread awareness about the causes that we are passionate about. And so that's actually one of the main one of the main responsibilities of mine is to utilize this platform that I have as Miss Asia USA, and also on my social media to make sure that I spread the right message. We've seen so many developments recently in technology, right? Like the ChatGPT or a lot of other developments. Actually, last summer I worked as a intern at a AI company in Taiwan, and through that experience, I did a lot of back-end development and coding as well. I also did a lot of the marketing for them. And so what I noticed through my experience was that even as far as technology can take us or AI can take us, there are also negative impacts from it. And I think that's something that for future considerations, something that we will have to consider more, because technology will continue to develop, but the downside of it is also the ethical considerations of it, especially some people will use it to maybe do some more negative impacts, right? And so I think even though technology will continue to develop, it's important to make sure that it continues to align with human needs and what is best for the future and humans as well. I most enjoy, or what makes it fulfilling for me, is to make sure it's ultimately doing something that's beneficial for the world. Because nowadays social media plays such a big part of our lives. I think that to have a platform is such a powerful thing that we can have, and if we don't utilize it to do the right things, then the platform is basically useless. And because I like to see things that will help other people. And so with my major, even though it is engineering and business, I want to make sure that it aligns with my values as well. Since when I was smaller, I was discriminated for my Asian identity. And so since then, it became one of my main goals to not only empower myself, but also empower other people in the community who have also gone through a similar experience of at one time maybe feeling ashamed of their Asian identity or feeling like they're not good enough, right? And so since then it's been one of my main goals. I think one of the most, positive perspectives I've gained is the power of diversity and inclusion in everything that we do, right? Especially after going through the training process for Miss Taiwanese American and then now Miss Asia USA. This all special is the different perspectives that I get every single day whenever I go to an event or whenever I have an interview, right? I gain a different kind of experience and perspective. And so it's really the diverse perspectives and beliefs that I see every day where I continue to bring that into my own, own mind and experiences as well. The journey has definitely been very long, and sometimes there are a lot of challenges. There are times in my journey, some things I do will not always receive positive feedback, especially when you're trying to, in life we have to balance a lot of things. For me, it's this title that I have with school, but what's most important is the resilience that you have to continue to push forward no matter what obstacles that you face. Originally, I started Mad Hatter Knits out of just pure curiosity from my love for knitting. I actually first accidentally made a really small hat. And at the time, my cousin was working in the nursing department at San Gabriel Hospital. She brought up that these hats would be perfect for neonatal intensive care, preemie babies. Once we started to research more into it, I realized how big of an issue this was, especially maternal and child health care is a really overlooked area because a lot of mothers don't express it, but especially through the time when they're going through pregnancy and even postpartum is a really, really difficult time for them, right? And so I wanted to bring out those experiences and those voices of what women have to face during pregnancy. And so that was one of our. So I think that one of the most important things I've learned through my experience in running Mad Hatter Knits is really seeing, because I didn't realize this at first, but it's really difficult to, run a big organization, right? And so it's really important. The first thing is community, building community with not just within the organization, but outside of the organization as well. Not just always constantly doing work in Mad Hatter Knits, but also working on building friendship with each other. We listen to each other and we know what, we all have different personalities, making sure that we all can get along and everything. And because if you're not close to them, you can't understand the struggles that they're going through. So I think that's one of the most important things. Well, since I was small, my dad has been very, very involved in Tzu Chi, and his involvement in Tzu Chi and growing up with Tzu Chi has really made me, I feel much more compassionate, and it really instilled in me the value of service in life. And so that's something really special to me that even till this day I continue to really value. Changes in my father, I think that's a little more difficult for me, but I think he really loves the work he does for Tzu Chi. I can tell it really comes from his heart. And so for me, seeing how passionate he is about Tzu Chi Seeing him go to almost every event that he can really inspires me as well. And so, since I was small, he took me to the back-to-school food drives where I would volunteer. And also, I went to visit the medical center and I volunteered with the COVID vaccination sites. For me, if there's one word to describe Sissy, I feel like it'd be compassion. Because, I think from all the events I've seen, every event that you do really comes from the heart. It really comes from seeing things from other people's perspective and putting yourself in that position as well. And so I think if there was any word to describe any work that you do or anyone in the organization, it'd be compassion. Yeah. Just seeing, for me, even though I went just to visit with my father, it brought a new perspective to me as well, because I was able to see all these families and see their experience and what they have to go through, and it really makes me appreciate what I have.